Happy Friday, Dragons, and welcome back to Inside Ambition. Thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of The Main Report, the weekly news rewind so that you don't get left behind. I'm Gabrielle Remo, and before I get into the news, do not forget to subscribe to our new YouTube channel and to follow us on Instagram at inside_ambition. Stay connected with our show, you will not regret it. This week's episode is going to be a roller coaster. We're going to talk about the GOP reject, Marjorie Greene, Trump's second impeachment trial, a South Philly native photographer for Billie Eilish, and last but not least, radishes that send text. Sea cucumber that uses Google Chrome. It's something about a vegetable with autonomy. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Trump's second impeachment trial was set in motion on February 9th, ending with the decision to proceed with the case with a 56-44 vote. This decision was led by detailed documentation of circumstances leading to the insurrection at the Capitol in January. And while the decision is made, the forefront of the counterarguments was this: was impeachment after office constitutional? Critics to this impeachment also brought up the question, what is stopping us from impeaching any president after their terms end? However, after coming to the Senate floor, Trump was acquitted in his impeachment trial despite 7 GOP senators voting with Democrats to convict. And this decision, by far, was the most bipartisan support for conviction in impeachment history. The final vote was 57-43, but 67 votes were needed to secure Trump's conviction. And while 7 GOP senators voted against Trump, citing that he played a significant role in the Capitol riot, all eyes were on Senator Mitch McConnell. Shock. McConnell came for Trump, blaming him for his, quote, disgraceful dereliction of duty. He endorsed many of the arguments made by the House impeachment managers, but despite this, he voted not guilty anyways. Overall, former President Trump stated post-acquittal, this has been yet another phase of the greatest witch hunt in the history of our country. No president has ever gone through anything like this. And that was virtually the end of that. Speaking of Republicans being voted out, on February 4th, GOP Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene was voted out of 2 House committees after pushing to the surface controversial statements prior to her election, not to mention some Islamophobic and anti-Semitic comments. Now, let's talk QAnon, not to be confused with Qdoba, which is very much inferior to Chipotle. I said it. QAnon is a broad set of conspiracy theories first emerging in 2017, where Subject Q claimed to be an intelligence operative with critical information. These claims range from 9/11 conspiracies to child trafficking. And in the past, Marjorie Greene has shown support for QAnon, referring to it as, quote, refreshing and an objective flow of information. Although Representative Greene has publicly announced regret for these past promotions, the push by Democrats in the House to have Greene released for these actions has the unanticipated support of Mitch McConnell, calling her rhetoric not only loony lies, but a cancer to the GOP as a whole. But let's lighten up with some cool Philadelphia news. One that involves bad guy William Eilish. A Philadelphia native made history this week after his Billie Eilish photo shoot made Vanity Fair's lead photo. Quill Lemons, a 23-year-old native to South Philadelphia, made history as the youngest photographer to ever shoot a Vanity Fair front cover. This is not his first rodeo, although, as his resume is stacked. Lemons has shot Chloe and Holly for Vanity Fair, has been featured in Variety, GQ, Teen Vogue, and The Fader, and Billie Eilish has invited him back to shoot her again. Boy, oh boy, we would not stand a chance if Lemons was in the Drexel co-op system. Lemons describes his work as a distinct visual language that interrogates ideas around masculinity, family, queerness, race, and beauty. Overall, Quill Lemons express hope in being an inspiration to younger artists of color. And that's an amazing thing to bring to this world. Lemons moved to New York City to attend the notorious New School, and since then has been living in Brooklyn. From Philly to New York to the world, he is making awesome strides and making Philadelphia proud. Go Quill Lemons. And lastly, in awesome science news, scientists at MIT have found a way to make ordinary spinach do some extraordinary things. New nanotechnology developments have allowed chemical receptors in spinach to send emails. I know, really strange, right? Scientists discovered that the roots of spinach plants have nitroaromatic receptors, which allow the plants to detect atmospheric changes. This would make these spinach plants be able to detect high levels of pollution or biohazards such as bombs or chemical weapons. The way that this is being used is that when the plants detect changes, they will emit an infrared signal, which will process into an email being sent out as a notification. This can be used to combat climate change and work as security protection against biohazard threats. My only question is, what's next? Arugula that can send text messages? Cabbage that can curate Spotify playlists? But that's it. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of The Main Report. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to click the notification bell to know when we post. You're going to want to stay tuned to next week's episode to see if spinach does end up taking over the world. Bye, dragons.
Hey there, it's Alex from the future, and I'm here to tell you if you subscribe to our channel right now, COVID-19 will be eradicated from the globe. Don't believe me? Go ahead, subscribe, you'll see.